Hello and welcome to this week's Woven Together, our short art-based Lent series using things you might have in the house in lockdown. This week's readings are taken from John's Gospel, chapter 3. It tells of us the most precious gift that God gave us, that gift of his Son, a gift that was sent to save us. But of course, as with all things, God never forces us into anything. The choice to accept or reject this wonderful gift is entirely ours. I sometimes wonder if people are afraid that Jesus was sent to condemn us. But of course, that's not true, and this reading spells that out quite clearly. Jesus didn't come to condemn, but to give us the choice to either live in the light, or the alternative, of course, is to live in the shadows, to live in the darkness. It goes on to say that the light shines into the corners, and it lights up all sorts of things we'd like to keep hidden away. And that reminded me of the other days this week when the sun was shining. I pulled the blind back on the conservatory and lo and behold, the windows were as smudgy and as smeared as you've ever seen. A complete surprise, I have to say. I had no idea they'd got that grubby. But worse, the sunlight coming into the corners then revealed a layer of fluff and dust that I had no idea was there and quite honestly couldn't see on a dull day like today. You might be wondering how that relates to an activity. Well, at Christmas, on our circuit, we invited people to depict scenes either of Christmas or Christmas carols in the windows at home, and the idea was that you would illuminate them from behind. The light of your house would then shine out into your neighbourhood and they would see the true meaning of Christmas. And there were some fabulous designs. It worked really well. So in Lent, I thought, well, how can I turn that round so actually we can remember that the light shines into our homes, that we can remember about Jesus being the light of the world and think about the light of Christ. Something to let the light in. And that got me thinking about stained glass windows. I have to say, when I first came to live in Melton, I did the tourist bit and I went down to St Mary's and I had a look at the most fabulous windows. And they really are stunning. You know, Manchester Cathedral has got some stunning windows, but these are absolutely beautiful and the detail is fabulous. But what struck me and made me smile was the window with Jesus in it and a pork pie. And I thought to myself, well, I've lived in Eccles and I've lived in Bury, and I've never seen an Eccles cake or a Bury black pudding on either of the windows of those churches, but maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place. But laughing aside, I thought, well, how can I make myself a stained glass window? Because obviously I haven't got the skills and I don't have the tools even if I had. So I thought, well, if I draw on a piece of tracing paper, a piece of greaseproof paper, I could do that and stick it on the glass. But do you remember the old days when it was brown and you could draw on it and trace things? You could still have a go at that because I think that would still produce some pretty good results. The thing is, these days, greaseproof paper isn't what it once was. It's very high quality now and very clever. It's silicone paper, I think, in the main, and nothing sticks to it. And to be honest, even my pens weren't really going to stick to it. So I tried with permanent pens and they were very good pigmented pens, but it really wouldn't stick to it and I think would still smudge now. But it would still produce a result. You could still hold it to the light and see through it. But what I did found that did work was just an ordinary piece of paper. I got an ordinary piece of paper, some felt tip pens. Now I'm very lucky because my daughter left these when she left home and she was keen on art, and these are all permanent Sharpie pens, so the idea of these is they won't smudge, and you'll see why in a minute. But you could use ordinary felt tip pens, but that will add to the effect, I think, of the colours running. And then you write or draw on your piece of paper whatever you want to say or whatever you want to look at. It doesn't have to be, you know, fabulous work of art. We're not talking Matisse here. We just want something to remind us that Jesus is the light of the world. And then take some vegetable oil. This is just light olive oil I had in the kitchen. Put some in a little dish just for ease. Piece of cotton wool or even a piece of scrunched up kitchen roll and dip it in and then wipe it across. When your felt tips have dried, wipe it. Now, like I say, regular felt tips might run, but these are pretty good. But even these, after a couple of days, did start to smudge a little bit. But it doesn't matter because art is all about the effect, isn't it? It's not about being perfect. It's just about doing something that you enjoy doing for you. So you could have a try at that. Now, you might be thinking, Actually, Alison, you've gone too far this week. You were saying these were easy things to do. It is easy, but could be a little bit messy. Might be nice to try with the children. But if you don't fancy that, get your piece of paper and do something else with it. Fold it up, fold it in half again, and then fold it again. If you've got a square, so much the better, but it doesn't matter. I just cut it round, and then I just cut some little shapes out of it. Now, at Christmas, I made loads of these because I turned them all into snowflakes, and we had in the bleak midwinter on our window. But you know, the idea now is just to make something to let the light in that doesn't involve a dish full of grease. But just cut and chop and cut and chop. I once made one of these that turned out like two fabulous trees, and to this day I don't know how that happened. And then just open it up, and there you go. You've got a pattern. Oh gosh, it's done it again. I say done it again because I tried one earlier and it came out with a cross. And I thought, oh, look at that. I could put that on my window. Now that was a surprise because I didn't honestly think there was any chance of a cross appearing in that. But there you go. You have no idea what might come out of that. So stick them on your window, and then you can remember when the sun shines through it that Jesus is the light of the world. And I know I say this frequently. But if you've got something visual to remind you, you're more inclined to just think about it when you make yourself a cup of tea if it's there on your kitchen window or your bathroom window or wherever you know the sun's going to shine in. And let's face it, even on a dull day, you'll see the light coming through that. So have a look at these pictures I've done, and I'll just show you how the oil has made the paper translucent. So here we are. These are the ones I made. These are the doilies, if you like, I cut out. And really pleased with that. It only took a few seconds and it's come out like a cross on that one as well. On this one, I've deliberately left this. You'll notice half of it is dull and half of it is light and translucent. Well, this is the half I covered in oil. I just wiped it with a piece of kitchen roll about 3 days ago now. And you can see how the yellow has just bled through it. But you know, that doesn't matter, does it? Because it's the light and it just made it nice and bright. And then this one here, I thought I would do the oil within the border I'd drawn, but you can see how it's bled out round the edges. So that might be what happened. I was a bit over generous with it there. But it was simple and it was easy. And it was something you can do that you can put on your window. I might finish this one off now and highlight this side. But you don't have to be a great artist, just have fun. To remember that actually when the light comes through the window, God's light is flooding into your life and into your home this Lent. See you next week.